Hello YouTubers and welcome to another video. Today I'm in a different setting here, so I'm trying to get the light just right so you can see what I've got to talk about today, and that is the Rme Adi-2 Fs. Fs is a clock thing that's got inside. Anyway, looking for a DAC to use downstairs. Tried a bunch of them and before I made a decision I wanted to try this one as well, because there's a bit of a cult following for this particular DAC. It's been around forever. I didn't really know Rme, but apparently they're like, as far as I know, they like focus on the professional audio, and they bring some of that technology into here. Some of the versions of this device, they allow you to convert analog to digital, but this is more a consumer of a consumer product, so you don't have that facility on this one. So it's just like a DAC would. So really excited to talk to you about this. I think this is a great piece of equipment here, and if you're looking for a DAC, then welcome to my video. So, as I said, this is Rme is a professional audio brand from Germany. And Germany always shouts like good quality and things like that. In terms of quality and feel, I think this machine looks pretty okay. I won't say that it looks premium or anything. It certainly doesn't weigh premium. I think everything here is really just a digital circuitry with very little kind of in the way of other heavy stuff, electronics. So it's a modern thing. DSP actually is a lot of the appeal of this, because with the DSP you can change a bunch of settings here. I've never had a device that you can change so many settings. You got like parametric equalizers, you got Q factors, you got all sorts of things that you access through the screen here. The interface is actually quite interesting, and it set me back a few years, because you don't usually fool around with things like this anymore. But actually, I really enjoyed it because it was quite simple. So you got these two buttons here. You got that button there. Quite simple. I say, after you learn it, then it's quite fun to navigate. So I certainly went through a lot of the settings here, and yeah, I had some good time playing around. The screen itself is pretty small, but it's okay, especially if you're close. I think in a studio setting you would have this kind of on a deck like this, and then you would operate it like this. So you have to imagine this a little bit like that, why the buttons in this way and things like that. Construction wise, it's okay, but nothing to shout. At the back here you got a port, and my favorite one, USB, so I can connect this to my PC. You got a coaxial in, you got the power here, so it's an external brick, and it's actually got a twist function, which is pretty nice, so it's not going to come off. You got XLR outs, and you got RCA outs here. There's some cooling here, yes, actual cooling on both sides. There's an optical. The feet are okay, functional, I would say. Everything looks very functional, but it doesn't ooze premium, but it doesn't ooze like it's gonna break either, so good value there. Then at the front here you got a power button, you got your headphone port, IEM port, your volume control, you got a bunch of buttons here to access parts of the menu. Then you use these two buttons to navigate the menu and make your adjustments as you go along. So in terms of functionality, this is an amazing device. Nothing I compared it with comes close. So if you dig that functionality, then or you need it actually, then it might be worth having a look at the Rme, because in terms of sound, it sounds pretty good. It doesn't sound fantastic, and this is through this journey of finding DACs, I've come to find like DACs which are good DACs, and come to find DACs that are outstanding DACs. And the difference in sound is hard to explain, but when you found a really good DAC that the sound is just more open, I think that's a good way to put it. The Rme is quite amazing, and I was testing it especially against the chord Q-test here. And at some points I was like, the Rme is actually pretty close to the chord mojo. But then there was other moments that I could clearly tell that the Q-test, sorry, not the mojo, the Q-test is the better DAC here. Just more, the timing is better, the sounds are more real. Yeah, everything seems a little bit off tune in the Rme once you start listening to the chord Q-test here. Similar situation here with the topping. The topping D90 discrete, this is actually quite a revelation. So I think in terms of the stage, these are quite similar in that they're not, unlike the Q-test, it's not the deepest thing. So when you're listening to music, the vocals aren't over there and things kind of quite far. So you're not sitting like at the back. With the topping, you're sitting really at the front, but at the same time you have a sense of space. So I'm quite impressed with this, because in many ways he's better than the Q-test, and certainly to my taste. But compared to the Rme, the Rme, as I say, doesn't have like the deepest sound stage. Like the topping might not have, but where the topping still maintains a sense of space. That sense of space is much more limited with the Rme, especially the sense of space around the instruments. I think everything is just like one big sound coming at you. Whereas with the topping, okay, there's no much kind of like, oh, they're singing over there, but you don't feel the sounds are coming in at you as one, is that everything's defined in that way. So the topping, better, much better. The D93 discrete. And then finally, I also tested against this Audiolab here, which is kind of a different form factor. You can see heavy, lots of bespoke circuitry on there, you know. And in terms of sound, they're actually quite similar in the sense that the Audiolab is also very resolving, also very good with there's nothing wrong with the sound. I think, you know, once you come to this sort of hi-fi level, everything sounds good, right? And you could live with it. I could certainly live with the Rme. I do think the Rme takes the cake in relation to the Audiolab MDAC Plus in terms of resolution, but I think the Audiolab is a more enjoyable listen in terms of how big the space is. So I think what I'm realizing from testing a lot of this stuff is that a lot of it depends on what you like, and sometimes what you like one day is not what you like the next day. So then you start looking out for devices that can deliver all the time. Or at least on average they deliver good sound, but then those might be the same devices that never give you that thrilling experience. And I think the Rme is actually one of those. It's like, if you just want to play music, no faffing around, just turn on the music and it's just there playing. It's really good. And you got like functions like loudness, so you can, it's quite fun. On the remote control, you can increase the treble and decrease the treble and the bass independently with the hotkeys. So it's got a lot of good things, but when you come to kind of just sit down and really go for it for the sound, that's when it starts breaking apart, because unfortunately it doesn't have the same space or openness to the sound, to the instruments, to the vocals, like something like the topping D93 discrete or the chord Q-test. Those are really a league above, and you can feel it, so I think in terms of value, if you're not noticing that extra level of sound that you can have with other devices, I think you'll be very well served with the Rme. Adi-2 Fs. I think it's a really good device. It sounds really solid. And you know, a few years ago, if I could have sound like this in my stereo, I would be the happiest person on earth. But once you compare this to something like a topping D90 discrete, 3 discrete, then you kind of like, and your main criteria is the sound, then you can't deny that the topping is superior in terms of like sound. Although you're not missing anything if you choose the Rme, because it also sounds brilliant. And if you're not one of those people who likes to pick the sound up, actually the Rme does that very well. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. The Rme Adi-2 Fs, I think. I hope I'm saying that correctly. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to my subscribers. It's nice to see the numbers go up. And see you next time.